welcome to another discussion with your boy, the Easy Button.
Your boy, TwonDaDon.
Today we're going to talk about sliding on D versus running on D. What's good with it?
Man.
First of all, were you ever a defensive player?
Hey, man, don't be trying to throw slick shots, bro.
I just want to know.
I average good steals playing the passing lane.
That don't mean you was a good defender.
Hey, passing lane.
Passing lane defense.
Passing lane defender.
Because you want to leak out and get them dunks.
I wanted to get them. Nah, I mean, hey, I wouldn't say I was the greatest. Maybe when I was really mad and I felt like I had to really prove something, but like I didn't have that dog defensive mentality. That don't mean that was the way to go. But I mean, honestly, shoot, when it came down to it, I was a good enough defender to be on the court all the time. I mean, had to be at least defend a little bit to play. You couldn't just be. Ain't too many Steph Currys and Trays in the world who don't have to play D. You feel me? So, I mean, with that being said, I mean, I played a little bit of D, but I mean, that's not what we was talking about. We talking about running versus sliding.
All right, well, I asked that because it's going to lead me to my next question. Which one were you good at, or which one do you suggest?
I mean, I suggest both. You got to have both in your arsenal. I learned at a young age that I was going to have to start running before sliding. Now, I mean, I played DB in high school. So, I mean, I used to watch a guy named Champ Bailey. And Champ Bailey had this, his stance was different than a lot of corners.
Right.
It looked like a defensive stance. So, he would play a lot of people side up, open up. As soon as they start running, he running with them.
Karaoke
break
style.
Down, able to break down and cut on they routes. So like, I kind of took that playing defense in football. So then when I went to go play basketball, I noticed I would open my hips, run with a player. Especially, you know, you might get hit with a move that catch you off guard and they beat you.
Right.
So
gotta recover.
You gotta recover. And there was one move that I was taught on the football field that I took with me on the court. So when a receiver get past you, you put that shoulder in front of them, that hand on their thigh. Most refs ain't gonna call that and look like you running with them, but really you slowing them down. I can make a 4-2 cat run a 4-5 with me
easy
in a week. So I mean, I used
putting
to take that
pressure on.
Putting the pressure. So I mean, I used to take that with me on the defensive end, and like if a person would get in front of me, my whole goal was to get my shoulder in front of their body enough for me to go ahead and kind of look like or not look like it, but enough to get my body there.
So every time he do this when he guard me, just call foul. Now.
Can't call it though. Now
I'm already knowing.
But I'm just saying, yeah. And if I get there, then I want to turn my body. But I feel like, I mean, running has its pros and cons. Sliding has its pros and cons.
Ain't it crazy how, because you made this point and I just had to think about it. When you first start playing basketball, like, I'm talking about like as a kid.
Right.
Ain't no sliding. You running everywhere you going on defense.
Right.
You know, and then as you get better, then you get better footwork, then now you sliding. And then you get to a point where now guys is too good to slide all the time.
Right.
Now you got to do both. You know, so it's like the first progression is you run on D.
Right, automatic. Watching little kids
automatic.
You just see them running.
You running everywhere. You getting crossed up, turned around, spun around. Then you get to where like, okay, I'm better now. My footwork better. Now I'm sliding on D. Now these guys is way too fast. And I wish I learned that earlier when I started playing basketball. It wasn't until Millie, shout out Millie, MBK, baby. It wasn't until Millie, and he's a really good defensive player. If I ever get a college job, I'm going to get Millie as my defensive coach. For real, like my man gets it in. But it wasn't until he was like, yo, you keep getting beat because you still sliding.
Right.
These dudes are like, would you slide on yourself? Like, you know, think about how you play offense, and that's how you playing defense on these guys. You slide, and they beating you. No, he said, think about how you do dudes who slide on you. You blow by them.
Fact.
So you got to play them how you play yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, dang. So it just got to a point where you're a scorer, I'm a scorer. I don't got to play defense because I'm going to outscore you.
Right.
What happens when I can't outscore you?
Exactly.
Now I got to try to get a stop.
Right.
So that's when I started taking my defense serious. And it wasn't until, golly, man, I want to say, like, after senior year in high school, where I was, like, really learning that I could not keep sliding and being, you know, I would get exposed.
Right.
You know, and so I was lucky enough that after high school, I won't say lucky because at the time I hated it, but after high school, I didn't get to go to my JUCO until 2 years after. And so in them 2 years where we playing, you know, me and Millie, we getting it in, and he teaching me these little things. That's when I really took the next step to my defense. Unfortunately, it was a little too late because when I got to college, I was still getting better at sliding, when to slide, when to run, and I would, you know, pick up fouls. You know, I would have to go sit down, and my coach, I don't know, one time, he was like, man, you should be a better defender than what you are. He was like, you should be a better defender than what you are, but I learned how to run on D a lot later than I should have, or slide, how to run on D a lot later.
But I feel like, I ain't gonna lie, even though running on D keeps you in front of the defender, I feel like the ones that slide on D have the better, you know, benefits of playing defense.
Right.
Because, like, you always square. You beat them to the spot. It look like you straight. Because I know when I used to get mad at this all the time. I run and beat them to the spot, but like as I'm running to beat them to the spot, I'm not square. So in my mind, yeah, I'm running, but my body like this.
Right.
My chest is square, but my whole body not square. So when I beat him to the spot and I get a blocking call, I'm like, hey man, this is good D. I beat him to the spot.
Right.
And he like, no, you didn't. But I'm like, yeah, I did. Like
I was there.
I'm here, coach. I even look at my coach, and he would just wave me off like it was okay.
Yeah.
You're not there.
You gotta square up.
Body.
They on that. You know what I'm saying?
And that stuff coaches should teach you at a younger.
But is it because like me, that coach didn't never learn that?
And that's when we talk about coaches who don't play and coaches that do play. But that's another topic.
We're gonna have to get on that. But
that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, this is high school too. This is high school at the point, and this is
because none of my coaches ever told me, you know, this is why this, and this. They'll tell you, yeah, you got to beat them to the spot. Okay, but I'm there.
And that's what I'm saying.
That's the go-to. I'm there.
I'm there. What are you talking? Hey, ref, what did I do wrong?
I
even
am
the
there.
ref wouldn't even put me on game. Like, ref, I was there. What I do wrong?
It's like he was just taught. If his body's facing this way, call it. But he don't know what to call, like why he called it.
Exactly. So, like, even when I got to my junior college, I mean, granted, in junior college, we ran a lot of zone. So it didn't matter much.
Hide on defense. I never got the hide.
I even got the hide on defense in high school.
Dang.
Like I'd pick the second best player to guard, but the first best player to guard.
Somebody else go get him.
Was my boy Anthony O'Neal. I ain't gonna lie, he had heart. Boy was only like 5'8", 5'9", guard 6'6" cats.
Oh.
Yeah, that was Anthony. And so coach would put him on defense.
Shout out Anthony.
Hey yo, that's how I used to call that boy.
Hey yo,
for real. Like the coach would put. I remember our first playoff game. We played this cat named James Nunley. He ended up going to, I want to say, Santa Barbara to hoop or something like that. He was one of the top recruits with us in Sacramento, 6'6" guard. And when we went to the game, I'm in my head like, I'm guarding James Nunley.
Right.
He's a top recruit. I'm a top recruit. I want to guard him.
Right.
Coach,
you want to show it.
Nah.
Because you ain't showed it up to this point.
But it don't matter, coach. I want to do it.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't want you in no foul trouble. Blase blah. Put AO on him.
Yeah.
I love you, AO. But he was abusing AO.
Hey, it is what it is, bro. Sorry, AO.
But granted, and I know you're going to see it because you're watching. But granted, I ain't going to lie. I say if you beat him to the spot, you got to get there in enough time to square up. So when you're looking at your angles, if you're looking straight ahead, you got to turn that angle a little bit to give yourself enough time to beat him to the spot and also turn your body to square up. So when you do get hit and you don't, and it looks like it's an offensive instead of a defensive, because when you are running, it looks like you the one through that contact.
It does. And then speaking of running, and you got to give, like, especially like in the open court, you got to give yourself a further enough distance where you can cut them off.
Right.
Because if you don't pick a further enough distance, then you're going to get countered again. And then you probably really gone. Some people might fall.
Hey, I've seen
you know what I'm saying? So running on defense is crucial. It's important. Sliding on defense is crucial. It's important.
And the reason I say that is, like, check the players like Kawhi. Great person. He slides almost all time. I've seen him open up, though, but he'll get to that spot real quick, and he backsliding real quick.
Right.
Pat Bev, he slides. He a little bully defensive player. Like, the defensive players that you see, they specialize in defense, they going to slide. Now, but I say you got to be able to go both ways with it. If you're a both ways player, anybody will take you on that roster.
There's a reason why cats, NFL, basketball, cats is making millions to play defense. So, if you, like, dudes go to the gym, they work on their shot, put up 500 shots, whatever. They watch film, learn how to get their shot off. If you want to be a good defender, we want to start to get to the point where Go watch film on defensive players. We need to get to that point where you go to the gym to work out, you doing slides. You know, you sprinting, you break down, you slide, sprint. You know what I'm saying? These are the things that I'm starting to do with my 8th graders because
good. Teach them young.
I never learned that.
Right.
So, you know, you don't want to get to a point where you're just, you know, you're getting abused on D or you didn't learn till it was too late. You know, luckily I was able to learn at a late age and still able to continue on playing. You know, he was able to do things and take defense less serious and still able to move on, but everybody ain't able to do that.
Right.
Everybody's not able to do that. So do your research, do your homework, okay? And make sure you learn how to sprint and slide and know when to break down and open up your body.
Got to.
Appreciate y'all for hanging out with us as we drop gems that we picked up in these gyms. Leave us your thoughts. Let us know what you think. And as always, one love. Peace.
Yeah. Yeah. Sound good, don't it? Check. Yeah. Look. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Look. Life tried to drown me. This hoop is like my life jacket. This ice in my veins is something Titanic. Lockdown defense kept me out the center for detention. Divine intervention passes over to my center. Alleyways are the alley-oops. Some got no looks and passed away when somebody shoot. Back in court duo, but nobody hoops. The wrists follow through and the cuffs got a loop. Pick a book up, picked up and get booked. It's just you and I, out running suicides. Me, I was out running suicide. Boy, I'm going in, dropping gems that I picked up in these gyms. I can't slack, I've been down and back. I'm just trying to share a few tales from this thing called life. Count my assists, man, I swear that basketball really saved my life. Yeah, yeah. I swear it saved my life. Let's go.